Marie, a beautiful African woman with a humble and loving nature, lived in a small village surrounded by rolling hills and lush green forests. She was known for her kindness and her stunning physical appearance, particularly her large breasts, which had become the subject of whispers and admiring glances. Zakuri, a man from the same village, had been obsessed with Marie's breasts for as long as he could remember. He would often find excuses to see her, just to catch a glimpse of her curves. His obsession knew no bounds, and he would stop at nothing to make her his. One day, Zakuri approached Marie's parents, asking for her hand in marriage. Marie, unaware of Zakuri's true intentions, agreed to marry him, hoping for a happy life together. But little did she know, Zakuri's love was not for her, but for her body. The wedding day arrived, and Marie looked stunning in her traditional African attire. Zakuri couldn't take his eyes off her, his obsession growing stronger with every passing moment. As they exchanged their vows, Marie felt a sense of unease. She couldn't shake off the feeling that Zakuri was more interested in her body than in her as a person. The wedding night was a blur of pain and discomfort for Marie. Zakuri's obsession with her breasts was evident, as he spent more time fondling them than making love to her. Marie felt like an object, not a person. She tried to push the thoughts aside, hoping that things would get better with time. As time passed, Marie and Zakuri had 3 beautiful children together. But Zakuri's obsession with Marie's breasts never faded. He would often comment on their size and shape, making Marie feel self-conscious and uncomfortable. Despite his fixation, Zakuri was a distant father and husband. He spent most of his time away from home, leaving Marie to care for their children alone. Marie felt trapped and alone, her body changing after each pregnancy. Her breasts, once the object of Zakuri's desire, now felt like a burden. One day, Zakuri approached Marie with a shocking request. "Let's have another child," he said, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "I want to see your breasts full and round again." Marie was horrified. She knew she couldn't take care of another child, not with Zakuri's lack of support. Marie was taken aback by Zakuri's request. She had given him 3 beautiful children, and he had barely lifted a finger to help care for them. "I can't have another child," Marie said firmly. "I'm exhausted, Zakuri. I need your help with the ones we already have." But Zakuri wouldn't listen. He pleaded and cajoled, promising to take care of the new baby himself. Marie knew it was a lie. She had heard his empty promises before. "I won't do it," she said, her voice firm. "My body is not a breeding ground for your desires." Zakuri's face darkened with anger, but Marie stood her ground. Zakuri, angry and frustrated, went to his mother's house, complaining about Marie's refusal to have another child. His mother, a stern and traditional woman, listened intently, her face growing more and more disapproving. "Go back to your wife and tell her she must obey you," she said. "A woman's place is to bear children and care for her family." Zakuri nodded, feeling vindicated. He went back to Marie, his mother's words ringing in his ears. But Marie stood firm, refusing to back down. Zakuri's mother, determined to get her way, decided to intervene. Zakuri's mother arrived at Marie's house, her presence commanding attention. "Marie, my daughter," she said, her voice stern. "Why are you refusing to give my son another child?" Marie stood tall, her voice firm. "I'm tired, mother. I need help with the children we already have." Zakuri doesn't lift a finger. The older woman's face darkened. "You must obey your husband," she insisted. "It's your duty as a wife." Marie's anger flared. "My duty is to my children, not to Zakuri's desires," she shot back. The argument escalated until Zakuri intervened, his face red with anger. Marie, fed up with Zakuri's mother's meddling, suggested a test. "Let's go to the living room and see how Zakuri takes care of the children," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Zakuri's mother, confident in her son's abilities, agreed. But what she saw shocked her. Zakuri was sitting on the couch, his phone in hand, while the children cried and ran around him, neglected. The older woman's face fell as she realized Marie had been telling the truth. Zakuri didn't care for the children at all. "Zakuri, how could you?" his mother asked, her voice shaking with disappointment. Zakuri shrugged, unconcerned. "I'm busy," he said, not looking up from his phone. Marie's eyes met Zakuri's mother. A triumphant glint in them. "Now you see," she said. "I'm not the problem. He is." Zakuri's mother turned to her son, a stern expression on her face. You need to take care of your children, she said. And respect your wife. But Zakuri just smirked, his eyes flashing with defiance. Zakuri's mother left, disappointed and angry with her son. Marie thought she had finally won a small victory, but Zakuri was not one to give up easily. He began to plot, seeking a way to get what he wanted. One day, Marie discovered that Zakuri had switched her birth control pills with a different medication. She was horrified. How could you? She asked, her voice shaking with anger. Zakuri just shrugged. I want another child, he said, his eyes gleaming with desire. Marie felt betrayed and trapped. She knew she had to take drastic measures to protect herself. Marie decided to take control of her own body. She scheduled a breast reduction surgery, hoping to alleviate her back pain and free herself from Zakuri's obsession, but Zakuri was furious when he found out. He tried to stop her, but Marie was resolute. On the day of the surgery, Zakuri tried one last trick. He switched Marie's surgical papers with those of another patient, hoping to trick the doctors into giving her breast implants instead, but Marie's doctor was vigilant. He caught the mistake and proceeded with the original plan. As Marie recovered from the surgery, she felt a sense of liberation wash over her. She knew she had made the right decision. Marie returned home, her body bandaged and sore. Zakuri was waiting, his eyes gleaming with anticipation, but when he saw Marie's smaller breasts, his face fell. He felt like he'd been punched in the gut. You deceived me, he shouted, his anger boiling over. Marie stood tall, her eyes flashing with defiance. I took control of my own body, she said. You don't own me, Zakuri. Zakuri's face twisted in rage. You'll regret this, he snarled. But Marie just smiled. She knew she'd finally broken free from Zakuri's obsession, and as she looked at her new body, she felt a sense of pride and empowerment. She was no longer a prisoner to Zakuri's desires. Marie's recovery was not just physical, but also emotional. She realized she had been living in a toxic relationship, and it was time to take a stand. With the support of her friends and family, Marie made the difficult decision to leave Zakuri. She took the children and started a new life, free from his obsession and control. Zakuri was devastated. He had lost the one thing he desired most, Marie's body. He tried to win her back, but Marie was resolute. As the days turned into weeks, Zakuri's true nature was revealed. He was not the charming, loving husband he had pretended to be. He was a controlling, manipulative man who had used Marie for his own desires. Marie, finally free, began to heal and rediscover herself. She learned to love her new body and found happiness in her newfound independence. Zakuri resorted to social media platforms searching for dates since nothing more he wanted from his wife, and moreover nobody would like his wife's shrinking body. There are more women out there who has the perfect body that I like, he said to himself. So, there's nothing I want from my wife anymore. But despite his best efforts, Zakuri didn't find any date since they all despised him for him and charming body. He didn't think that himself was also old and was not liked by young hotties. He tried for years, yet his wife found a husband and even got married. Moral lesson: your partner's body is not yours to meddle with but a treasure to cherish always.